In this episode, I'm going to take you through how I landed a global consulting role with Efficio, the world's largest procurement and supply chain consultancy. Before then, we are monetized, 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours. We got it. Thank you for tuning in. We're able to do this longer to keep the consulting, to keep the wellness, to keep the lifestyle content flowing. Thank you so much if you've subscribed from day one. And if you haven't, please do subscribe. It only gets better from here on out. Okay, let's dive in. For context, it's October 2023. Before we even talk about Efficio and the interview process, let's rewind back to February 2023. A friend of mine hits me up, tells me to speak to someone at BCG. Yeah, sent my CV, did the application, and I got an interview with BCG. Now, if you've been here, you know BCG is the dream, right? You know that's where we want to end up. I was so thrilled, got the opportunity. I went in with the studies, with the prep, 3 years of consulting. I think I'm ready to level up with also the experience that I've gained. It feels about right. Prepped, I did the first round. Unfortunately, I didn't go through to the final round. I was okay after that. Usually I would internalize, the imposter syndrome will start creeping up, but this time I was like, you know what? Okay, cool, maybe it's not meant for me. So what did I do? I focused on what was in front of me, which was the gig at PwC, because I was on an intense project at that time. More on that later. Literally just focused. I was disappointed, I was sad, but I didn't let it rust me. I literally focused on what the bigger picture was, which was living the consulting dream. Now let's fast forward to April 2023. A recruiter from Efficio hits me up via LinkedIn. You see why the LinkedIn profiles are always a great thing to have. Always keep your LinkedIn up to date. Recruiter hits me up through LinkedIn. They're like, hi, we like your profile. This is our profile as a company. Are you interested in a chat? At that time, nothing to lose. So we scheduled a chat within a week. The recruiter, I could tell, was really serious. She was telling me about the program I'll be in, the package, the Global Mobility Program, that's what it's called, and the fact that I'll be moving to the Middle East or wherever I'm based. Through this whole time, I'm sitting there like, all right, this sounds cool. When do we start? Not because I was eager, it was just another chance that I'll probably fumble or another chance that will probably not go anywhere. I was just there so nonchalant, like, all right, cool, I hear you, all right, let's do this. A recruiter is like, okay, cool, send me your CV, let's make the process official. A couple of weeks, I'm not hearing back, so I ping her, and this is getting towards end of April, so she sets up the interview. First interview, end of April. That was pretty quick. This interview was on a Monday afternoon. I literally prepped 30 minutes before. That's how uninterested I was. That's how much I just wanted to live my life. Also coming from a failed experience, it's just like, I'd probably fail again, right? So I prepped really well. First interview was pretty cool. Interviewed by 2 managers. They asked about Championship Mode Collective. They asked about my experience, detailed, like value for the clients, what type of projects, why those projects. It was quite intense. And they sprung a case study on me. Luckily, the last interview prep wasn't far ago. So I literally just relied on that experience, wrote down notes to help me problem solve. And yeah, I thought I did decent. Literally, when I left the interview, I literally just continued on with my life. It was almost as if I didn't do an interview. They put me into round 2, right? I'm just like, ooh. It's 10 questions, 18-minute numerical reasoning test, and I prepped and we're in it. I only got up to question 8, which means I only attempted 7 questions. I hope those 7 questions are right. I literally told my parents goodnight and I just went to bed and I slept peacefully because still not believing it. I'm expecting the trip up to come pretty soon. Guess what? I make it to round 3. Now, round 3 is intense, broken up into 2 parts. And I remember doing it when I was at the client project while at PwC. So the first part is an hour case, a manager and a senior consultant. So they send you a client brief with data, figures, facts, everything in the first 5 minutes. Then you have 20 minutes to problem solve, 20 minutes to play it back, and then 20 minutes for chats, finding out about the company. It was intense. The reason it was intense because I was coming down with flu. And the night before, I was literally caught it to not prepping because I was just so tired. The flu was coming in strong, but I was like, nah, Emmanuel, 2 hours, let's prep, let's do this so that at least the interview can go well. So I was really proud about that. I literally had the notes, I literally had all my insights on a page. In that 20 minutes, I was literally referring to a lot of them and I was able able to get to the gist of solving the problem, procurement, strategic sourcing problem. What I liked most though is after solving the problem, playing it back to them, I was challenged. I remember the manager asked me, oh, well, did you consider this? And the thing that I was really happy about was I didn't crack, I didn't panic. I literally was just like, I didn't think about this, but this is why I didn't think about this. But now that you've mentioned that, that's actually a very good way to think about it. And from that point, it became a conversation. And I was like, okay, we're good, because now it was a conversation. Literally did that for 20-25 minutes, and they were really pleased. They were really pleased with how I thought about it, how I broke it down, and I got to a final number. At the end of the day, I still had to solve the case. That's what's important. That's the first part of round 3. Now the second part is an Excel case study. Pick a day, a time, to send your case study. You have an hour to do it. You are not allowed to use the internet, so they're relying on your trust. I was like, oh, okay, I've never done one of these before. They mentioned it takes quite a while and not everybody finishes. But that was the type of work I was doing at that time. When they sent the case, I looked through it, just broke it down, paced myself. I was a bit slow, but once it clicked, and I was literally done in like 45 minutes. And 5-10 minutes, I was just checking to make sure all the formulas are correct, the logic flows quite nicely, and there are no issues or errors in the workbook. It was a procurement price change, which was pretty cool. That was literally what I was doing in my current project. Yeah, talk about God's intervention, which is something I actually want to dive into. But before then, I got confirmation that I passed round 3, which was really good. You know, once I sent that Excel case, that's when I knew I got this. That's when I knew I was going to be leaving PwC. That's when I knew I was going to be leaving South Africa. So the final round was like a personality interview with one of the VPs in Europe, and it was intense. Not in the sense of tell us about your personality and whatnot, but you know, the questions about your career, what you want your focus to be on, why consulting, what you want for your life, you know, those type of existential questions. But yeah, it takes a lot of reflecting, and sometimes we don't do that often, so that was pretty intense. And that was mid-July. A week later, the recruiter hit me up and said, we'd like to officially give you an offer, and that literally kickstarted the whole process of me leaving South Africa. So God's intervention, because every time I tell this story, I literally tell my friends, look, I was just a passenger. This was all God. And there's just 4 things that I really reflect on every time I tell the story. And the first thing was the BCG failure. Imagine your dream company not getting in. You feel some type of way, right? But I was okay. I was disappointed, yes, that I didn't convert the opportunity, but I was okay. I didn't go into a spiral or a funk. I understood that I lived a blessed life. I had so many privileges. I was still doing what I always wanted to do, which was to be a consultant at a top tier firm. I was really okay after the BCG rejection. The second one pretty much accounts for most of why I landed the gig was the project that I was on. So I've done procurement for like the last 2-3 years, but more from we are PwC and we're gonna go to the client and help them out. But this time I was seconded to the client. I was not just doing procurement, but I was practicing procurement. I was helping them execute on their strategy. You know, I was helping them improve their procurement. I was speaking to suppliers. I was literally acting like I was part of the client, and that made all the difference because the interviews, the case, it was literally practicing procurement, the price change, what's going on in the market, how do we do procurement, this is the problem, can you help us solve it? And just being on this project made the difference because I used those skills and I just applied them in the interview. I didn't want to get on this project when it was initially suggested for me, but I was just like, alright, cool, you know, it's different, it's not first choice, but it's different, let's do it. And yeah, it's just like no actual ways this contributed to the journey. Now the third one, which is a decent portion, was using Microsoft Teams functionality. I'm a Google baby. From Android to work, Google Workspace. PwC uses both, but I use Google Workspace in everything. The client was using Microsoft Teams and I struggled. Oh my gosh, I did not like Microsoft Teams. I was just like, how do you guys do this? Where's the compose button? Where's the calendar? I went through that steep learning curve of understanding Microsoft function, and guess what? Efficio uses MS Teams, and it's just like, well, if I didn't get that opportunity, we'll still be struggling with MS Teams. But literally the transition is smooth. It's like, okay, Google MS Teams, but it's MS Teams. So we're still able to do this. We know where everything is. We know how everything works. And it's just like, come on. on. No actual ways. The fourth intervention, which is, I think the universe got my back on this one, was I always had a resolution to leave South Africa before I turned 30. My 30th birthday is in November, crown birthday. While this was happening, it didn't cross my mind. This is the resolution, right? We're about to take it. But afterwards, once Efficio confirmed that I'm starting in October, it's like, wait a minute. We actually gonna do it? Leave South Africa before 30? And it didn't matter where we were gonna go to. I wanted to go to Kenya because I've never been to East Africa. But listen, the Middle East is not in my plans. But God literally just looked at me like this and he was like, oh, you little boy, you don't even know. And that's how I feel from getting on the right project, understanding how MS Teams works, getting over the BCG failure quite quickly. It's like, wow. There's a plan bigger than you, and sometimes you just don't even know it, because when you're in it, it is hard. And I always say this when I recount the story. After BCG, I didn't know, right? I didn't know this was the path we're on. I still went through the field. So it's really hard. It's really hard to trust the process sometimes. It's really hard to be in it, especially when you want something and you have to trust that, look, God's timing doesn't fit on my wrist. It just doesn't work like that. I need to have a chat with him. Why does it have to be so hard? I need to have a chat with him. Another God intervention is having to do this with my tag team.
What's up? What's good, guys? My name is Paul, by way of introduction. Good job. It's giving God on God on God and God.
You don't need an intro on this channel, dog. It's your channel at this
How about
point.
Mama Jimo, guys? I just had to, there might be new subscribers.
You see, I collect that. But thoughts on how Efficio came about?
When they say Tumamina, God sent, handpicked for the mission, God said, I want you guys there. Similar situation to Emmanuel, the recruiter, headhunted us, got into our LinkedIn and said, hey, there's this opportunity. Firstly, we didn't think much of it because it was too good to be true, honestly. So well, let me speak from my perspective. It was too good to be true. I was concurrently interviewing with another company that I really wanted to land in South Africa. I thought I would have options. And I said, I remember the prayer was, God, here are these two opportunities that I'm really keen on. Help me pick, help me eliminate. And
it's not a choice, really.
I thought at the end, I was waiting for the offer from the second company, so this one came first. And God was like, hold on, sis, I'm gonna eliminate for you. And I'm so glad that I took this step. Best decision so far. 0 regrets, guys. When God says go, we have to go.
How's first week been?
First week has been smooth. People have been super welcoming. The reception has been great. We literally are trusted and left to our own devices. So it's been an intense week of trainings. And what I really like is it's at your own pace. And we've been in this consulting environment before, and it's really been such a great week of just immersing and absorbing ourselves in awesomeness in what they do. Yeah, guys, we've joined the best of the best.
What's next for you? What's next for your career?
That's a big question. I do have an idea. The next 5 years, I'm going to be dedicated to being a sponge. Absorb as much as possible, as much as I can. Refine, sharpen myself as a consultant. Be able to live, breathe, and speak what I do with my eyes closed. And pick up some studies. And hopefully I pick that up in the next year, 6 months, year or two. That's very ambitious. Yeah, huge focus on the entrepreneurial side.
That's how you have it, guys. What's better than 1, 2?
Guys, listen, wait. This guy doesn't get the credit. Literally. I forgot to mention day one. We're meeting a lot of people. We're literally a model United Nations, and hearing what people do and where they're from and their background can be so intimidating.
She's about to lie.
And literally, this guy, every 5 minutes I go into panic. Yes, I go into panic, imposter syndrome, and he's right there next to me, reminding me of who brought me here, which is God, and who I am. Guys, I really hope that Emmanuel follows his true purpose. I think your true purpose is showing people, reminding them of their potential and unlocking that. You literally help people unlock their next level of self. I really hope that he's in some way, shape or form has done that or translated that through this channel, because that is really his true purpose. That is his calling on earth, and he's been of massive help in helping me realize my potential and reminding me of who sent me here, who made me, and who I am. So thank you so much, Femo. Wouldn't have been possible without him. Literally, this whole journey, this whole journey wouldn't have been possible for me without him. And I mean, obviously, Baba God, as he'd like to say. But listen,
Look, I'm having the time of my life being with one of my favorite people. So
that's my bestie, my bestie, my bestie, my bestie.
let's go. Now, the obvious question is, what's next, Emmanuel? Look, I'm here. We made it here to one of the most booming parts of the world, to one of the most advanced parts of the world where I get to learn so much. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna take the scenic route. Sometimes we get to a new point in our lives and we don't enjoy it enough. We don't smell the flowers. And I'm guilty of that because when I tick off boxes, I literally want the next box. I'm like, okay, so what's next? Jump out of the bed like I'm possessed. But no. I am taking it all in. Like, the view right now out of my hotel apartment is just beautiful. You know, I'm taking it all in. I didn't start this year saying, yeah, we're gonna be in Riyadh in 2023. So that's what's next for me. I'm gonna take it all in. We're also gonna go through why I chose Efficio and why I left PwC and what it all means for Championship Mode Collective. By Championship Mode Collective, I mean my life, I mean my career. Because, you know, in Championship Mode Collective, we talk about the consulting career, we talk about lifestyle, we talk about wellness. So that's what's next for me. Like I said, gonna take it all in, learn the culture, try to fit in, learn how things work the way they do, and just be amazed at how different things are in this side of the world. That's me. It's a Saturday, which is the end of the weekend in the Middle East. Yeah, let's get into championship mode. Relax, you've been a TV presenter before.